Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Okay, in this lesson we're going to begin the process of designing appropriate car parking spaces for our project. So this is going to be part one. I'm guessing there could be parts two and three, possibly even four for this, but we'll see how we go. Okay, um, I'm going to be referring to the Victorian Building Regulations, but if you're in a different area, obviously you'll need to refer to your local requirements. Now, the question you could be asking is, why are we looking at car parking before designing the rest of the house? Okay, it is basically because our car-centric rules and effectively our car-centric society require that a minimum number of car parks to be allocated for a new build. Okay. Now you can apply for exemptions and a reduction in car parking, but we're going to assume that isn't occurring. We're just following the rules as we see it. Okay. So if we have a look at here, here is the part of this is the main excerpt from the Victorian Building Regulations. So it's Regulation 78. Okay. So if it says here, it says if a new Class 1 building, which is ours, is to be constructed on an allotment, which we're doing, okay, provision must be made, and the word there is must. We have to do this. We need 2 car parking spaces, okay, and they have to be accessible from the street. Okay, now of the 2 required car parking spaces, the first space must be 6 meters long and 3.5 meters wide, and the second space must be 4.9 meters long and 2.6 meters wide. Now, there is a variation to this if you have a double garage, but again, if we go back to our client brief, a single garage, okay, which means our single garage is going to be the first space. Okay, so we're going to have to design a single garage that's 6 meters long, 3.5 meters wide, and a second space outside of the garage meeting these requirements. Okay, that is the result, or or the requirement of a car-centric society and urban design. All right, onto the actual design side of it. Okay, now the first thing we need here, and it's not on here yet at the moment, is to understand where on our allotment the car access is, i.e. where is the street access. Okay, and we have a little note here. Okay, this is the front of the building, so this is where we're going to be accessing the property from the allotment. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to nominate a crossover. Okay, so this would be where the car crosses over a nature strip or a berm, okay, to access the street. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this text here. So highlight it, CO for copy. I'm going to drag it down here and double click in there just so that I can type in here. Okay, so what I'm going to put in here is crossover. Okay, just a little note to help me understand where things are. So we're going to assume that this crossover here, if I drag it over a little bit more, okay, it will be, say, a double crossover. So it'll be shared between lot number 1 and the empty lot here. Okay, so a single bit of concrete here allows access to 2 different properties. Yeah. Right. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to start using it. We're going to use our reference planes again because they're a really useful tool. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to basically highlight where our driveway could be and start looking at what those minimum parking requirements are. Okay, right, so into architecture, reference plane. I'm going to draw a reference plane here just to start off with. Okay, I don't know the exact dimensions. Okay, and I'm just going to reference that reference plane to the southern boundary here. Okay, and if I click on it, ooh, I'm just going to move my section out of the way so I can see my temporary dimension. And we can see there 2935, so it's pretty close. Okay, I'm going to make that 3 meters. Okay, which is the minimum requirement for an access way in accordance with the Australian standards for car parking. Okay, so that's the first thing. We need at least 3 meters for a car to drive in off the street and get onto the driveway here. Okay, first part done. And again, let's rename our reference planes because we might be looking this in elevation. Okay, that's our access way. The second one we want to do, and again, just going to refer back to the car parking. Okay, we actually need to look at the second car park space first because we need at least 4.9 meters of car parking space in length. Okay, now our building envelope here is only 4 meters, so we're below the requirement there, so we don't comply. Right. Now the other thing as well is that you will very rarely see a car that is only 4.9 meters long in Australia at the moment. Okay, there are a lot of big vehicles being produced in excess of um, 5 meters, even up to 6 meters, if not longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to design for some redundancy. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, reference plane, and what we're going to do is we're going to make this external car parking space, we're going to make it 6 meters long. Okay, so architecture, again, another reference plane. We'll drag it out here for the time being. Okay, so from there, what I need to do is I grab this little blue grip, hold my mouse key down, and reference back to my border, my boundary there. Okay, 6.286. Let's make that 6 meters. Right, click to name. Let's call this second car park space. Yeah. Right. So what we've done here is we've allocated this little zone here as our second car park space. Okay, that will help us meet, well, it's in excess of this requirement here, okay, which is the car park. So we need 4.9, so we have 6 meters, so that's good. We need at least 2.6, we've allocated 3 meters wide. So we exceed the standard, okay, and this will allow for bigger vehicles to park in there, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there, okay. Just take note though that our building envelope floor encroaches into this car park space, so that's something that we are going to have to work with down the track. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave it here. In the next video, we're now going to look at where does the second car park space have to be, okay, and this one has to be bigger, okay, it needs to be 6 meters long and 3.5 meters wide, okay. We'll look at that, and that will then basically start help to start guiding us, you know, where the rest of the building can go. Okay, so just a very quick recap. Okay, this couple of reference planes here to help us identify it in relationship to a crossover where the second car park space will be. Okay, one's going to be 6 meters long and the other that is going to be 3 meters. Okay, next video we'll cover more, but until then we will see you later.